Welcome to the episode 11 of Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking episode 4 of The Anonymous, the brand new reality TV show that has stirred up the airways from the USA Network. It's from the producers of the Traitors and the Circle. This new series is a strategic competition show played in two worlds, the real world and anonymous mode. 12 players live together, collaborating for a chance at a $100,000 prize while secretly competing in anonymous online hideouts in a high-stakes game of deception. Folks, if you missed the first 3 episodes, they are now live on Peacock. If you missed my exit interview with who was eliminated on episode 2 or 3, one of those two, it is up over on the YouTube channel. Be sure to check that out. I will be doing exit interviews throughout the entirety of the season of The Anonymous. I'm having a blast with the show. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you just watching this episode right now and you're like, should I watch this show? Absolutely. Go watch the show, come back, join me for these recaps because we're going to be breaking it down every week. And like I said, we're going to be talking to the cast every week and whoever's eliminated from the show. Last week, first 3 episodes saw 2 eliminations last week. Casey and Sydney be sent home, which was crazy because we saw Casey only get 1 vote in the anonymous chat. It didn't matter. She was gone out the door. Casey and Sydney were sent home last week. Make sure to check out my interview with Casey over on the YouTube channel as we broke down everything that happened on her time on the show. Obviously, we got a cliffhanger in episode 3. They seem to like these cliffhangers on this show. It's every week now. We're going to the weekly format. We had the 3 episodes debut. Now we're getting ready to go into the weekly episodes, and we're getting our elimination at the beginning of the episode, and then we get a tease of what's to come. I guess it's gonna happen every episode because it happens at the end of this one too. But when we left off last week, we saw that there was quite a few people up for elimination, but the only 2 people that remained were Andy, Chris, Tyrina, Lily were on the block. Tyrina and Xavier, one of those 2 were going to be the anonymous. So Tyrina or Xavier were one of the 2 that are going to be the anonymous. And then, of course, we find out Tyrina was eliminated, meaning Xavier won this week's anonymous. She says before she goes, pay close attention to who's in your corner because they really might not be. And it's funny because Xavier says in his thing where I knocked out Tyrina because he thought she was a game player. He said he would look out for her, but she talks a lot and needed to make the move. Like, it's almost she knew who kind of eliminated her. It's kind of weird how she kind of like telepathically knew that somebody that had her back was one of the people that eliminated her. But it is what it is. Tyrina announces she was the truck, and everyone is shocked by this because a lot of people thought she was the dice. But obviously, everybody thinks the dice is flipped back to Robbie now, and Robbie needs to do some damage control. All right, back at the house, Jack, Xavier, and Chris are sitting down the couch together. Jack says he thinks Nina is Sandra's daughter, and Xavier freaks out. Chris had no clue who the hell Sandra who Sandra was or was related to Sandra. And Xavier knows that Sandra is one of the goats of reality TV. Jack doesn't want her to know wants her to know that they know who she is and wants baby Sandra in his team. First off, Jack, let's put some respect on Nina's name. That's a Survivor winner who eliminated her mother on Survivor. Okay, Sandra's one of the goats of reality TV, but Nina is no slouch herself, okay? So let's calm down a little bit. All right, folks. The game is twisted, okay? A handle refresh is activated, meaning each member of the remaining cast, we got 9 people left, each of them will get a new handle. What a twist. So just when you think you know, they're flipping the game around, which is insane. All right, so we drop it down real quick. I'll give you the quick rundown on what everybody picked. Dylan picks the popsicle. Chris picked lipstick. Marcel picks the snake. Xavier picks scissors. Jack picks flamingo. Goated pick go to pick as I wear my flamingo shirt in the episode here, guys. All right. Robbie picks Rocket, Nina picks Fire, Lily picks Robot, Andy picks Lightning. However, when they show the handles on the screen, we notice that there's now 12 handles on the screen. Not 9, but 12. 12 players, 12 new handles. So we get 3 new players entering the game. Another back-to-back bombshell right off the rip, right? You know what I mean? We're episode 4. We're already bringing 3 more people back into the game. And you know what? It's not the old people, which would have been an interesting twist. Actually, that would have been a really cool twist. I'm going to throw that out there. What if they would have brought the 3 people they eliminated like right back? How crazy would that have been? That'd have been nuts. I would have really liked that. All right. So we got 3 new players entering the game. We got Bisma, who is the Eagle. It's a political lobbyist. Wayne is a light bulb. He's a former police detective. He did most of his undercover work online. And then we have Victoria, who locked in the cactus and is a travel blogger. And Chris is already made a beeline for her. I mean, this dude was all over her so fast. Like, who? Sydney who? That's literally what he said in this. Because just like 2 days ago, he was all over Sydney. But let's see here. Alrighty, Victoria and Chris are mucking it up together. He wants, like, his paws all over her. Jack and Chris are talking about Dylan because he hasn't helped the pot much at all. Jack sees the flirting between Chris and Victoria, which Chris already kind of exposes himself, and he foresees it becoming an alliance and thinks it's risky to keep them both in the game because if it'll come full circle. Exactly. If Victoria gets smitten with Chris, Chris comes down to, hey, I've got an alliance with Jack and Victoria. Of course he's going to pick the girl. So Jack sees this as a threat. Jack, to me, strategic game player, very pays attention to literally everything. I love that. The new players are safe from elimination tonight, and each one of them will be a team captain for the next game. The winning team captain will get to pick someone from their team to be safe from tonight's elimination. Bisma likes her some Jack. I don't know why I said Zach. Chris is talking to Nina and complaining about Dylan, and she's on both sides of the fence here, with Dylan complaining about Chris complaining about Dylan. She's just in the middle. We get this Jenga-like puzzle thing where the teams are going to have to build it to replicate the square house, and they have to get it whenever they build it. They must do it in the correct weight, which was 160 pounds. They can check the weight by calling for the weight only once complete. So we had a draft from all the guys and girls there. Bisma, she drafted Jack first, then Chris next, then Lily. Victoria got Robbie, Marcel, Dylan. Wayne got Xavier, Nina, and Andy. Teams that will complete will get $3K added to the pot, so there's a potential of $9,000 to add. Again, the first team to complete this Jenga-like thing, complete it and make like a puzzle piece thing to replicate the square house and have it at exactly 160 pounds will win the game, and then the captain will get to keep. We get to choose somebody from their team to be safe from elimination. Bisma's team gets it done first, but it weighed 171 pounds. Victoria's team is struggling mightily. Wayne's teams failed for the weight check at 166, meaning they're 6 pounds over. Bisma at 163. Jack thinks he's figured it out. Bisma team weighed 160, winning it, baking it. Wayne's team was just this close to winning it. But they got it in time. And then of course Victoria's team with like seconds to spare also got it in as well. That was $9K added to the pot. Pot stands at $41,100. They're moving the pot up for sure. Bisma gets to pick one member of her team to be safe. She picks Jack to be safe, which is not shocking at all. Lily literally cries because she's been up this entire time, which is like, I understand it, but like Bisma didn't know that. Like, how was she supposed to know that? Jock, after the game, Jack calls out Chris's puppy dog eyes over Victoria shortly after the Saying the same thing with Sydney, who is saying that he went and did the same thing with Sydney, and she's already been booted. He's speaking with Xavier and Nina. They both agree that they can't bring in Victoria into the fold because he will save her over them. Again, game playing strategy. Hey guys, maybe we need to shift Chris out of this thing and to make it a Nina, Xavier, Jack thing. Jack knows that he wants to keep Nina close because he thinks that her mom is or some relation to Sandra there. So that's interesting dynamic as well. Nina spills the beans about Chris talking ish about Dylan. And then, of course, right after this, we go right into the chat. Anonymous chat time. Somebody Popsicle throws out there, Robbie will be up for elimination tonight. Did I say Robbie? Yes, I did say Robbie. Sorry. Robbie will be elimination. Like, that was the first entrance into the chat this game. Like, this episode. Robbie will be up for elimination tonight. Popsicle said it. Like, holy shit. Like, Jack is about to stir the pot, says, to my understanding, there's a couple in the game. I think we know what we need to do. Like, fire. Andy said he thinks Chris should go. I like Andy being aggressive. I like Andy being aggressive very much so. Andy has not been aggressive at all. Andy's been kind of stagnant, and it's because of this that he has found himself on the chopping block, I think like 3 episodes in a row here. Victoria throws some shade at Dylan about what he's contributed, anything to the pot, and Xavier says neither has Andy. Wayne, our new player, kind of decides to stay silent. Some people take notice of that, and he continues to stay silent the entire time. Jack brings up no bigger threat than a couple. Victoria types Chris tonight, Victoria tomorrow, which is hilarious. I love that strategic and gameplay, and the chat is closed. Here we go with the voting. Obviously, Casey took it on the chin last week with only 1 vote, so all that matters is if you get 1, you are up for elimination. All right, Dylan, aka the Popsicle, picked Robbie up for elimination. Andy, Lightning, picked Chris. Victoria, Cactus, picked Chris. Hell yeah, I love that gameplay. Jack, Flamingo, picked Chris. Lightbulb, Wayne, picked Chris. Marcel, Snake, picked Andy. Scissors, Xavier, picked Andy. Nina, the Fire, picked Andy. Robot, Lily, picked Nina. Now listen, Lily says that she just wanted to throw a different wrench in the plan, etc., etc. That I wish she wouldn't have said, because I was like, finally, Lily is making a move as a game player. But nonetheless. But this is Nina's first time being up for elimination. Lipstick Chris also picked Nina. And then Bisma picked Xavier. I like Bisma. This was strategic. This is a gameplay. I fucking loved watching this because Bisma sees Xavier as a game player and knows that he can win games because he's one big brother. And then Robbie picked Xavier as well. Definitely, what a chain of events here, because Chris, Xavier, Andy, Nina, and Robbie are on the block, right? 3 of the best players in the game. 3 of the 4, because Jack's not obviously nominated, but you've got Robbie, Nina, and Xavier on the block, and they're 3 of the best players in this freaking game right now. Jack's the only one I believe is better than the rest of them. Obviously, Lily's excited because this is the first time she's not up for elimination at all. In between, after the chat, Dylan comes in strong after Chris talking shit. Like, strong. He said to Victoria, you better get you some because he is good looking. But if I win anonymous, I will vote you out. Talking to Chris. Dylan has gone off the deep end, and I love it. He said, say the drama for your mama. He's coming in hot and heavy right after Chris. And I love it quite a bit. I do. All right, so let's find out. Quiz time to find out who is the anonymous. Obviously, we don't find out because it's a cliffhanger. Oh my God, it's a pain in our butt. But we do find out who the final 2 are, and then the final 2 of who potentially could be eliminated. Normally, it coincides with who is what, especially with the anonymous in play here. But Chris, Robbie, Nina, Bisma, Andy, Wayne, Marcel, Dylan, Xavier, and Lily are all not the anonymous. So the anonymous is Victoria, new player, or Jack. Like, this could be interesting. someone better start targeting and trying to figure out to get Jack out the door, because this dude's a game player and he's going to be here every week. They have not been able to figure out who he was. He's won it twice. Could this be a third time? Definitely interesting. Chris, Xavier, Andy, Nina, Robbie are on the block, but Andy, Xavier, and Nina are safe, meaning so it's either Robbie or Chris. So, of course, we get a week to ponder on who this is going to be. But, like, what a show. If you're not watching The Anonymous, what are you doing with your life? I love this show. Love it with a passion. It's so good, so innovative, and it's just a great time. So, that being said, all right, so it's down to either Victoria or Jack, and then they get to either vote out Robbie or Chris, right? So we know if Jack wins, I'm pretty positive he's going to eliminate Chris. If Victoria wins, she's 1000% going to get rid of Robbie. Now, it would be an interesting twist if Victoria won and ended up knocking out Jack. That, to me, would be a baller-ass move. What do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to get eliminated on the beginning of next week's episode of The Anonymous? Reminder, this airs Monday nights, 11 p.m. after Raw. 11 p.m. Eastern Time after Raw. It'll be available on Peacock shortly after that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Love and Reality Podcast. I will talk to you guys next week.